Hello, human from the future, and welcome to the third and final video in the series. In the last two videos, we discussed the HTML structure before you can actually begin coding HTML, and then we coded the HTML for the newspaper. So if you haven't watched those, here they are, and if you're with me so far, good on you. If you find these videos helpful, please like and subscribe to help with our YouTube algorithm so we can reach more people. So this is what our HTML site looks like at the moment. We have not added any CSS to it. You can see that it's just bland. We have a couple of paragraphs, we have some links over here, and these links don't go anywhere. We have a cute photo and a heading. So this is what the website should look like. We have a heading and we have two rows with various articles in it. In the first row we have 3 articles, one of them has a photo, and in the second row we have 1 article and a list of links with colored backgrounds. So let's get CSSing. Okay, let's go straight to our style sheet, which is style.css, which we created in our first video. The first thing I am going to do is select everything by using the all elements selector, which is the little asterisk. And we are going to set the box sizing to border box. We do this to include the padding and the border in the width and height. Next, we are going to add padding to our body, meaning we're going to add some space between what we are displaying and the margins of the website. Select the body element and add padding of 10 pixels. This will give us padding on all edges. Let's go and check that out. You can see that it's tight against the side here, and when we refresh you can see the padding added. No padding and padding. Now let's go and change our heading. We are going to select our class brand, so that's a dot brand. And now if you watch the first video, we gave our h1 the times, the class of brand. So we're now selecting the times, and this is what it looks like right now. And we want to change the font style. So we want to make it look different. So change it to something cool. I'm going to change, I'm going with what they had for the newspaper, which is Snell round hand. And then we're going to make the font weight normal, because the normal H1 tag normally has the font weight as bold. So we're just going to make that normal, so there's nothing on there. And the font size I'm changing to 60 pixels. And I've played around with this beforehand to get the right fit, so trust me. And then lastly, we will align the text so that it's in the center, and we want it in the middle. So this is what we have now, and this is the original. And essentially the heading moves to the center of the page. It's not bold, it's bigger, and it has a different text style. Okay, that looks good. Moving on to the next situation, which is this line here at the bottom. We are literally just going to add a border to the brand, which is the times. So we're selecting the brand header, and we are going to be adding a border bottom to the brand, and it's going to be 3 pixels, solid, and black. So let's go check that out. Refresh, magic. So cool. Moving on to the rows, we are going to change the display of the row to flex, so that everything no longer sits underneath one another but in one line. So the display for the row is now flex, and essentially when you refresh our articles, move into columns. So you'll see that happens for both the top and the bottom row. And I removed some of the text underneath kitten, as I felt that it was a little bit too long. So next we're going to make sure that our row width is at 100%, just to make sure everything fits in nicely on the page. So we're going to go back to our style sheet, and under row we are going to make the width 100%. As you can see, when I refresh, it doesn't really change much at the moment. So next we're going to align our items, so align items to stretch. When we align items to stretch, we ensure that even if some of the paragraphs are longer than others, the height of the row will remain the same. So the height of the paragraphs will be based on the column with the most content. Okay, so let's do the rest of our borders. So for each row, we are going to make our border bottom 3 pixels solid black, just like we did with the last one we did. Let's check that out, and you'll see that for both rows, we now have a black border at the bottom. So let's add our left border. This one we're making slightly thinner, so border left will be 1 pixel solid black. And once again, let's check that out, and on the left hand side we'll see this thin little border. So to finish off our borders, we move on to the story class, which is essentially each one of the stories or articles that we created. So we actually need to create a border on the right hand side for each of those stories. So let's make the border right 1 pixel solid and black. So that should give us all of our borders. Voila, there we go. We'll make it pretty later. We also need to add some space between the line and the paragraph. So we will add some padding. We'll do 0 and 10 pixels. Top and bottom will be 0, and left and right will be 10 pixels. You could also do top 0, right 10, bottom 0, left 10. Okay, let's see what we have. And the padding looks good. So let's sort out the layout, starting with each story that's in our quarter class. So let's start off by selecting our quarter class. And just a quick recap on the quarter class. All the quarters take up 25%, halves take up 50%, and 3/4 take up 70% of the width of each of the rows. So for our layout, we want to go and make our quarter classes to change their width to 25%. And you'll see how the page realigns. So it still doesn't look great because obviously we haven't set the other parts. And so let's add in the halves width at 50%, and you'll see how that makes a major difference. Our cat image is also a bit cramped in its space. Okay, so let's also quickly add the 3/4. So that's obviously 75%. So it takes up the width of the row. And that should also sort of take care of our border problem. And then let's quickly change the image width to 100% inside of its column so that it also takes up all of the space it can to make it look a lot better. So image width 100 pixels. There we go. And those headings look a bit tired, so let's sort them out as well. So we're selecting article title, and we are going to make the font size 30 pixels, which should help improve the readability a lot. Let's check it out. Cool. And then we need this text in the middle as well, so let's align our text so that it's in the center. And it's also no longer bold or italic. So let's remove the bold by making the font weight normal, and also set the font style to italic. If we go check that out, it should look pretty good now. Yep, it looks exactly the same to me. So the last thing we have to do is attach our links with the different background colors. Each link has a different background color. The text underlines when you hover over it, and it's evenly spaced out in the height of the column. We call our class for our group of links other sections. And within this other sections, we have individual links that are site sections and site links. So each link leads nowhere at the moment. We want to manipulate these a little bit better, so we actually are going to use Flexbox and make the display flex. This is like using float, and it will cause all of your links to go inline. And then we're going to make the flex direction a column so that they're stacked again. So we're going to go flex direction column, and when you go check that out, you will see that they're now back in a column. This just makes it easier to manipulate. So now let's align the items so that they're stretched. If you remember from earlier, they will all be the same height. And we'll justify the content to be centered. And then we are going to take away all of the padding and all of the margin, making it 0. Let's go check that out. Still looks nothing like it. So next, let's go select the site section, which are each one of the links separately. Okay, and we're going to make its display flex as well. So when we refresh, all of the bullet points disappear. So next we are going to align all the items center. It's not really going to make much of a difference for us at the moment. And then we are going to make all the items in our flex container flex 1, so that their sizes will be proportional to the specified flex factor and they will be spaced out proportionately. With flex 0, nothing happens. But when we change it to 1 and we refresh it, you'll see how it aligns proportionately throughout the column. Finally, let's change how it looks. For each link, make the text black. So select section link and make the color black. There we go. And then we are going to remove the text decoration, meaning it'll remove any bold, italic, anything like that from it. And we are going to make the font size 30 pixels. Okay, so let's go check that out. And I think we're definitely on the right track here. So we definitely need some space on the left hand side of our link text over there. I think we need to just, if you check out the other one, you'll see that it has some padding on the side, which ours doesn't have. So let's go add some padding left, 30 pixels. Okay, let's check that out, and you can see it moves to the right slightly. And we're going to change our font weight to bold and make the font family Futura. And when we check that out, you'll see it's nice and bold and pretty. And then lastly, we'll change the color to 666, which is that nice gray color. So when we refresh, you'll see that it changes to the gray. So just check out the other one. You'll see when we hover over it, it underlines. So let's go and create that. So section link, hover, and then we're going to say text decoration underline. So whenever you hover over it, the underline will pop up. So if we refresh, it should do that now. There we go. All of them work. Lastly, we need to change the color of each one of the links. So select each link specifically. So site section, politics. I think that's the first one. Yeah, politics. And then inside, say background color. And I'm just going to go for blue. Some random blue that I found. And when I refresh, the background will be blue. So go and copy and paste that and change each site section specifically to tech and all of the other ones, and go change each color. I'm just fast forwarding through this because it's, you know, we've done it, we've covered it, you can do it by yourself. And I've gone for a sort of gradient of blues, and essentially you can go with any color you want, be a little bit creative. So this is sort of what we end up with. In comparison to the main site, it looks a little bit different, but all in all, it's the same concept. We've just gone for some different colors and added extra text. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Guys, please stay safe out there and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.